I found the burner phone in his glove box. Not hidden. Just sitting there. Like he forgot it existed. I picked it up. Screen lit up. One unread message. She still doesn't know? No name. Just a number. Area code from Seattle. I knew that area code. Blake used to live in Seattle. Blake, my first love. The one who walked out when my parents died. The one who said I wasn't good enough anymore. I told Connor all of that. Years ago. When we were still living in the basement. When debt collectors called us every hour. When I couldn't stop cutting my wrists. Connor held me through all of it. He never complained. Never looked at me like I was broken. He just stayed. And now this. I put the phone back. Took a picture of the message. Closed the glove box. Walked into the house like nothing happened. 2 years ago, I was on my bathroom floor bleeding out. Connor found me. Carried me to the car. Didn't even put on shoes. He sat in the ER waiting room for 3 days. Didn't sleep. Didn't eat. Just sat there. When I woke up, he was crying. He never cried before that. I'm not letting you go, he said. Not ever. I believed him. Because that was real. That was the man who saved my life. So I did what he asked. I went to therapy. Took the meds. Stopped hurting myself. And then he brought out that lamp. This grants 3 wishes, he said. Just trust me. I didn't believe him at first. But then I wished for the company. And the company came back. I wished for the house. And the house came back. I looked at Connor. He was just standing there smiling. Like everything was going to be okay. I almost believed it. Then tonight I caught him on the balcony. He didn't see me. I was standing in the kitchen, watching through the glass door. He had the phone to his ear. His voice was different. Softer. Like he was talking to someone who mattered more than I ever could. Just a few more days, he said. A pause. I know. But we have to do this clean. She can't suspect anything until it's done. I stopped breathing. The IPO is next week. Once the money hits, we're gone. He laughed. That same laugh he used to give me. The one that made me feel safe. Now it made my skin crawl. She won't see it coming, he said. She still thinks this is all her luck. That the lamp gave her everything. She has no idea. I walked back to the bedroom. Sat on the bed. Stared at my hands. My hands that had held him so many times. My hands that he held in that hospital room. My hands that promised they'd never let go. I had a 3rd wish left. I was going to use it for a baby. A real family. A future that didn't feel like the floor could drop out at any second. I told him that. 3 weeks ago. He smiled and said, let's wait until things settle down. Just like that. Just like everything else. I pulled up the surveillance app on my phone. I installed it 6 months ago. Not because I didn't trust him. Because I didn't trust myself. I was still fragile back then. Still scared I'd wake up one day and find out the lamp wasn't real. That the company would vanish. That the house would go back to the bank. I needed to see him. Just to make sure he was still there. Now I watched the balcony feed again. He hung up. Waited a beat. Then sent a text. I checked the burner phone in his glove box again through the garage camera. Message sent. Same number. She's clueless. IPO next week. Then we're done. Done. That word. That's what I was to him now. A task to finish. I pulled up my assistant's number. Grandma gave me an assistant years ago. A quiet woman named Merritt. She's a lawyer. She's discreet. She never asks questions. I texted her. I need everything on Connor. Banks. Property. Accounts. Everything he has that I don't know about. And I need a name. Blake. Seattle. Find out what they have together. Merritt replied within minutes. We'll start now. Expect first report in 2 hours. 2 hours. I could wait 2 hours. I lay down on the bed. Stared at the ceiling. Connor came in 20 minutes later. He pretended to be tired. Pretended his back hurt. I watched him fake a limp. Long day, he said. The IPO prep is brutal. I nodded. Let him talk. He kissed my forehead. I love you, he said. Same words. Same tone. Same nothing behind it. I kissed him back. Let him hold me. His chest was warm. His arm was heavy across my waist. I didn't sleep. I counted the minutes. The report came exactly on time. Merritt's email hit my phone at 1:23 a.m. I opened it in the bathroom, sat on the cold tile floor, read every word. Connor had been siphoning company funds for 18 months. Not a lot at first. A few thousand here, 10,000 there. But the last 6 months were big. $100,000 chunks. All going to a shell company. The shell company was registered to Blake, my first love. The one who left me when I had nothing. I looked closer. Blake was back in the country. Had been for a year. He was living in a penthouse downtown. Rent paid in cash. Cash from the shell company. Cash that came from my company. From the company I rebuilt with my own hands. From the company I thought Connor helped me build. He didn't help me build anything. He was gutting it. Merritt included a second file. Phone records. Connor and Blake. Every day for the last 8 months. Hundreds of messages. Hours of calls. I scanned through them. She still has no clue. The house is back in her name. That's good. Makes the sale easier. Once she signs the IPO papers, we're set. I keep telling her she's the only one. It's pathetic how much she believes it. I stopped reading. My hands were shaking. I put the phone down. Took a breath. Took another. I thought about Connor in that alley. With the knife. Bleeding for me. I thought about Connor in the hospital. Holding my hand. Begging me to stay. I thought about all those years of him cooking my meals. Walking my dog. Sitting in the dark when I couldn't sleep. Was any of it real? Or was I just a project to him? Merritt sent a third file. This one was a video. I opened it. Connor and Blake. In a coffee shop. 3 days ago. They were laughing. Touching each other's hands. Like old lovers. Blake looked exactly the same. Older. But still the same smirk. The same way he tilted his head. The same way he looked at me in high school. Like I was a game he already won. Connor leaned in. Whispered something. Blake laughed. Kissed his cheek. And Connor smiled. I'd never seen that smile before. The real smile. The one he never gave me. I closed the video. Locked my phone. Sat on the bathroom floor until my legs went numb. Connor was still asleep in our bedroom. Our bedroom. In our house. The house I wished back with that lamp. The lamp I thought was a gift. The lamp he probably planned all along. I went back to the bedroom. Watched him sleep. His face was peaceful. Innocent. He looked like the man who saved me. But that man never existed. That man was just a mask. I picked up my phone again. Opened a new message to Merritt. Delay the IPO. Find every record. Every transfer. Every message. Make it airtight. And I hesitated. Find out about that lamp. Where it came from. What it really is. I sent the message. Then I lay down next to Connor. Let his arm fall across me. He stirred. Mumbled something. Go back to sleep, I whispered. He did. And I lay there, staring at the ceiling, counting the hours until I could destroy everything he thought he had. But I needed to know one thing first. Was he the one who put that lamp in my hands? Or was he just using what someone else had given? Merritt replied at 4:47 a.m. The lamp originated from the James estate. Connor's grandmother is Margot James. He is the sole heir. He was instructed to use the lamp to test you. His grandmother wanted to see if you were worthy. You passed the test. Now he's using the lamp's backing to steal everything you built. I read that sentence 3 times. Margot James. The billionaire recluse. The one who never showed her face in public. She was Connor's grandmother. He was her heir. Everything I had, everything I earned, everything I bled for, it all came from a test. And Connor decided I failed anyway. He was never going to bring me into the family. He was always going to leave. I just gave him the keys to the castle first. I stood up, walked to the kitchen, made coffee. Connor shuffled out an hour later, rubbed his eyes. "You're up early." I handed him a mug. "Couldn't sleep. IPO nerves." I nodded. He took the coffee, sipped it. "You're doing amazing," he said. "You deserve all of this." I watched him say it. The same words he'd been saying for 2 years. The same empty words. "Connor." "Yeah." I saw the question in his eyes. "Is Blake in town?" His hand froze. Just for a second. Then he recovered. "I don't know. I haven't heard." I smiled. "Funny. I heard he was." He didn't answer. Just took another sip. I watched the muscles in his jaw tighten. And I knew. He knew I knew. So I let it drop. Let him think I was just paranoid. Let him think he still had control. But I saw the little crack. The first crack. And I couldn't wait to see what happened when the rest of it crumbled. I didn't sleep. Not a wink. Connor left for work at 7 a.m. Kissed my forehead. Said he'd be back late. I watched him drive away. Then I called Merritt. "Pull everything from the James estate." She paused. "Everything? Every document, every record, every conversation between Connor and his grandmother. And the lamp. I want to know how it works. What it can do. What it can't." Merritt agreed. I hung up. Now I was standing in a house I wished back. Running a company I wished back. And none of it was mine. It was all borrowed. All part of a test I didn't even know I was taking. I pulled on jeans, a hoodie, sunglasses, baseball cap, drove downtown. Connor's office was in the financial district. Glass tower, 23 floors. I parked across the street, watched the entrance. He came out at 9:15, got in a black sedan. Not his car. I followed. He drove to a hotel, the Windsor, corner suite. I waited, watched him go in. 10 minutes later, Blake showed up. Same smirk, same expensive watch, same casual arrogance. I watched them disappear through the revolving door. I sat in my car for an hour. Then I got out, walked in, rented the room next to theirs. The walls were thin. I heard everything. "You sure she doesn't know?" Connor's voice. Low. Nervous. "She's clueless," Blake said. "She still thinks I'm in Seattle." "What about the delayed IPO?" Connor sighed. "She said it was a compliance issue." I believe her. Blake laughed. "You believe her? She survived a gambling debt that would have killed anyone else. She rebuilt a company from nothing. And you believe her?" Silence. Then Connor spoke. "She's weak. She always has been. Without the lamp, she'd still be cutting herself in that basement." I pressed my hand against my mouth, breathed through my nose. Blake again. "The lamp doesn't matter. What matters is the money. Once the IPO hits, we take it all. She gets nothing." "Grandma wants me to marry her," Connor said. "She said if I bring Ursula into the family, I get full control of the estate." "You're not actually going to marry her." "Of course not. But I need to keep up the act until the money transfers." I closed my eyes. Marry me? The family estate? The lamp? It was all one big con. Connor didn't love me. He never did. He was just following Grandma's script. And now he was rewriting the ending. I pulled out my phone, took a recording. Then I left the hotel, drove to the park, sat on a bench, called Merritt. "The James estate," I said. "What's the condition?" "There's a clause," Merritt said. "Connor only inherits if he marries someone the grandmother approves. Someone worthy. Worthy." She tested me. I passed. But Connor decided I wasn't worth keeping. So he was stealing my company, my house, my future. And Blake was his partner. I sat on that bench for hours, watched kids play, watched mothers push strollers. I wanted that once. A family. A real one. Connor knew that. He used it against me. I called Merritt again. Send me everything on Blake. A pause. Already working on it. Also, find his weaknesses, debts, addictions, anything. She understood. I went home. Connor didn't come back until midnight. He looked tired, stressed. Long day, he said. I nodded. Made him tea. He drank it. Didn't notice I added nothing to it. We went to bed. I let him hold me. His hands were cold. I waited until he fell asleep. Then I checked his phone. He'd changed the passcode, but I'd seen him type it in 3 times this week. It was her birthday. Blake's. I typed it in. Unlocked. Messages from Blake. She bought the delay. Good. Grandma called. She wants to meet Ursula next week. Family dinner. You know what to say. Connor replied, she'll be perfect. Just like I trained her. Trained her. Like a dog. I copied everything. Sent it to Merritt. Then I wiped the phone clean. Left it exactly where I found it. Lay back down. Stared at the ceiling. Connor stirred. Mumbled something. I didn't answer. The next morning, I made breakfast. Eggs. Bacon. Toast. The way he liked it. He sat down. Ate. Smiled. You're the best, he said. Of course, I replied. I watched him chew. Watched his jaw move. He had a small scar on his chin. From that night in the alley. He got it defending me. Or so he said. Now I wondered if he got it fighting someone else. Someone who owed him money. Someone who was in on the con. I pushed the thought away. Focused. I want to meet your grandmother, I said. Connor froze. Fork halfway to his mouth. Grandma. The one who gave you the lamp. You mentioned her once. I'd like to thank her. He recovered quickly. She's not well. She doesn't see visitors. I'm not a visitor. I'm your wife. He looked at me. Something flickered in his eyes. Fear. Good. I'll ask her, he said. But she's very private. Of course. I smiled. Picked up his plate. Washed it. He left for work. I called Merritt. Set up a meeting. With Margot James. I don't care how. Mrs. James doesn't meet outsiders, Merritt said. Then tell her I know about the lamp. And I know her grandson is stealing from me. Silence. I'll see what I can do. Merritt called back an hour later. She'll see you. Tomorrow. 2 p.m. Her estate. I wrote down the address. That afternoon, I went to the bank. I had accounts. Business accounts. Personal accounts. All linked to the company. All accessible to Connor. I moved everything. Every dollar. Every asset. Put it all into a new account. Only my name. I also withdrew the deed to the house. Filed it under a trust. Connor wouldn't know. Not until it was too late. I stopped by the office. Talked to the CFO. IPO delayed indefinitely, I said. Compliance issues. He nodded. Didn't ask questions. He was loyal to me. Not to Connor. I made sure of that years ago. Then I drove home. Connor was already there, standing in the kitchen. His face was pale. We need to talk, he said. I set down my keys. About your assistant, Merritt. She's been asking questions about my grandmother. I kept my face still. Maybe she's just curious. She's a lawyer, Connor said. Lawyers don't get curious. They get paid. I shrugged. I can tell her to stop. He studied me. I studied him back. Come here, he said. I walked over. Let him wrap his arms around me. Everything is fine, he said. You know that, right? Of course. I love you. I know. I felt his heart beating. Fast. Liar. I pulled back, kissed his cheek. I'm going to bed early. Long day. He nodded. Let me go. I walked to the bedroom, closed the door, pulled out my phone. Merritt had sent another file. Blake's medical records. He had a heart condition. Congenital. Needed surgery. Expensive surgery. His insurance didn't cover it. And he'd been gambling again. Big losses. He was in debt. Deep. That's why he was with Connor. Not love. Money. I smiled. Now I knew how to break them. Not with proof. With need. I called Merritt. Find out who Blake owes money to. And make them an offer. An offer. Tell them I'll pay off his debt. But I want them to deliver a message. What message? I told her. She didn't laugh. But I heard the smile in her voice. Done. I hung up. Lay on the bed. Connor came in an hour later. He looked tired. Worried. I pretended to be asleep. He lay down next to me. Put his hand on my back. I love you, he whispered. I didn't answer. He fell asleep. I waited until he was breathing deep. Then I sat up. Watched him. He was so beautiful. So charming. So empty. I used to love that face. Now I just saw a mask. A mask that was about to shatter. I leaned down. Kissed his forehead. Goodbye, Connor. He didn't stir. I called Merritt. IPO is scheduled for next Friday. Keep it on the calendar. Everything is ready, she said. One more thing. What? Send Blake's debt collectors to his penthouse tomorrow, right before my meeting with his grandmother. They'll get there. I hung up. Stared out the window. The city lights glittered. Cold. Distant. Just like Connor's eyes. Tomorrow, I'd meet the woman who started all this. And I'd find out if she was in on it. Or if she was just another pawn. Either way, I was done being played. It was my turn. I pulled out the lamp. It sat on my nightstand. Plain. Ordinary. 3 wishes. I used 2. The third was still mine. I held it in my hands. Thought about what to wish for. Money. Power. Revenge. No. I wished for the truth. Every piece of it. Every lie. Every secret. Every betrayal. I held the lamp. Waited. Nothing happened. But I felt something shift. Like the universe listening. I put the lamp back. Lay down next to Connor. And smiled. Tomorrow, the game changed. Tomorrow, I showed him who I really was. Not the broken woman in the basement. Not the grateful wife. The survivor. The one who had nothing to lose. And that made me the most dangerous person in his life. I closed my eyes. Slept better than I had in months. Because I knew. I was finally in control. I drove to the estate alone. No Connor. No Merritt. Just me. The gates opened before I arrived. Like they knew I was coming. The driveway stretched for miles. Oak trees. Stone walls. The house appeared slowly. Old money. Real money. The kind that didn't need to show off. I parked. Walked to the door. It opened before I knocked. A butler. Silent. Led me inside. The foyer was cold. Marble floors. High ceilings. Portraits on the walls. James family. Generations. I stopped at one. A woman. Young. Sharp eyes. That's Margot. Age 22. I turned. She was standing behind me. Small. Wrinkled. But those eyes still sharp. Mrs. James. Sit. She gestured. I Saturday. She took the chair across from me. Studied me. You look different than I expected. From the pictures. From Connor's descriptions. I waited. He described me as weak. Broken. Grateful. She saw through it. You're not what he said, she continued. You're stronger. I survived. Surviving isn't enough. Thriving is. She poured tea. Handed me a cup. I didn't drink. Smart, she said. Trust no one. I set the cup down. You gave him the lamp. I gave him the opportunity. He chose how to use it. To test me. Yes. And I passed. Yes. But he's still stealing from me. Margot nodded. He's been planning this for years. With Blake and others. He's been building a network. I leaned forward. You knew? I suspected. I waited for proof. And now I have it. She pulled out a file. Thick. Heavy. Everything. Transfers. Messages. Meetings. She slid it across the table. I opened it. Pages of evidence. Dates. Amounts. Names. Connor had been skimming for 18 months. Total, $4 million. All funneled to shell companies. All tied to Blake. I closed the file. What do you want from me? Margot smiled. Thin. Cold. I want you to destroy him. I blinked. He's my grandson. But he's a thief. A liar. A manipulator. You're his grandmother. I'm also the head of this family. And I will not let him ruin everything I built. She leaned in. Connor thinks he's clever. But he's not. He's predictable. Predictable how? He always takes the easy way out. Always relies on someone else to clean up his mess. She pointed to the file. Use this. Take him down. And what do you get? Closure. And the satisfaction of knowing I chose right. I studied her. You're not on his side. I'm on my own side. And right now, our interests align. She stood. Walked to the window. I gave Connor the lamp to test you. I wanted to see if you were worthy of the family. And I was. Yes. But Connor failed. He couldn't see your value. Only your assets. She turned. He's not worthy of you. Or this family. I stood. What about the third wish? Margot smiled. The lamp doesn't grant wishes. Not really. I froze. What? It's a tool. It focuses intent. It doesn't create. It reveals. She walked closer. You wished for the company back. The lamp didn't give it to you. It showed you how to get it. And the house. It showed you the loopholes. The opportunities. You did the work. I felt my chest tighten. So the lamp was never magic. It was always you. You just needed to believe in yourself. I sat back down. Connor told me the lamp granted wishes. Made me rely on it. Made me think I needed him. But I never did. Margot nodded. Now you know. The real power was yours all along. I took a breath. Then my third wish, I wished for truth. And you got it. I looked at the file. Everything in front of me. All the evidence. I could destroy Connor with this. But I also needed to protect myself. Are you with me? I asked. Margot extended her hand. Completely. I shook it. We talked for another hour. Details. Timelines. Strategy. She gave me access to the James legal team. Forensic accountants. Private investigators. Everything I needed. I left at 5 p.m. The drive back felt different. Lighter. Clearer. I wasn't the victim anymore. I was the hunter. My phone buzzed. Merritt. Blake's debt collectors just showed up. Perfect. They delivered the message. And he's panicking. Calling Connor. Over and over. I smiled. Good. Let him panic. I hung up. When I got home, Connor was pacing. His phone was in his hand. Face pale. You're back early, he said. I finished early. He didn't ask where I was. Too distracted. Something wrong? I asked. Blake. He's in trouble. Some people showed up at his place. I'm sorry to hear that. Connor stared at me. You don't sound sorry. Should I? He blinked. Ursula. What's going on? I walked past him. Sat on the couch. I met your grandmother today. His face went white. What? She's lovely. We had tea. Talked about the family. He grabbed my arm. You had no right. I pulled away. She's your grandmother. Not mine. She's private. She doesn't meet outsiders. I'm not an outsider. I'm your wife. He stared at me. Something clicked in his eyes. What did she tell you? Enough. I watched him spiral. His hands were shaking. Listen, he said. Whatever she told you, it's not true. Which part? All of it. She's manipulative. She wants to control me. She gave you the lamp. That was a test. She tests everyone. And you passed. He hesitated. I'm her heir. Were you planning to marry me? He opened his mouth. Closed it. I waited. Ursula, answer me. He shook his head. No, he said. I wasn't. I nodded. Good. Because I wasn't planning to stay married to you either. He stepped back. What? I stood up. I know about the transfers. The shell companies. Blake. All of it. He tried to smile. Ursula, you're being paranoid. Am I? I pulled out my phone, opened the file, showed him the screen. His face drained of color. Where did you get that? Your grandmother. He lunged for my phone. I stepped back. Don't. Give me that. Touch me and I'll call the police. He stopped. You're bluffing. Try me. We stood there, staring at each other. The man I loved. The man I trusted. The man who was always a stranger. You don't understand, he said. Then explain. He paced, ran his hands through his hair. Blake came back. He needed money. I tried to help. By stealing from me. Not stealing. Borrowing. You never asked. You would have said no. I laughed. Of course I would have said no, because I'm not an idiot. He stopped pacing. You're not weak, Ursula. I know that now. Too late. He stepped closer. We can fix this. Together. How? Drop the evidence. Let me pay Blake off. We start over. Start over. Yes. Fresh. Just us. I looked at him. Those eyes. That face. The face that smiled at me in the hospital. The face that held my hand in the dark. All lies. Connor. He leaned in. You said you'd never wrong me. I know. You said you'd always be honest. I know. You said you loved me. He was quiet. Then he spoke. Barely a whisper. I did love you. At the beginning. Then what changed? He looked away. When I saw how much you had. What you could become. You wanted that for yourself. I wanted it for us. There is no us. He grabbed my wrist. Ursula. I pulled free. Let go. Please. Give me one more chance. One more chance to steal from me. To make it right. You can't. I walked to the door. Where are you going? To a lawyer. You can't do this. I turned. Watch me. I left. Drove to Merritt's office. She was waiting. Did you see Margot? Yes. And she's on our side. Merritt smiled. Good. Because we have everything ready. I sat down. The police report. The restraining order. The divorce papers. She handed me a stack. All filed. I looked at them. Connor's name. My name. 23 years together. 15 of them real. 8 of them a lie. I signed everything. What about the company? I asked. Margot's lawyers are freezing Connor's access. He won't be able to touch a dime. And Blake, his debt collectors are applying pressure. He'll flip on Connor any day now. I nodded. I wanted to see Connor's face when he realized. When he found out he had nothing. No money. No house. No future. I wanted to be there. But I also wanted to walk away. Clean. Whole. Free. I asked Merritt for a favor. Find me a new place. Somewhere he doesn't know. Already found it. She pushed a key across the table. Safe house. James family property. Untraceable. I took it. This is really happening. Yes. I picked up my bag. One more thing. What? Make sure the IPO goes through. On time. It will. I want him to see it. see it happen without him. Merritt understood. I left. Drove to the safe house. Small apartment. Plain. Anonymous. No cameras. No bugs. I walked in. Closed the door. Sat on the floor. And for the first time, I cried. Not from sadness. From relief. The nightmare was almost over. Connor would pay. Blake would lose everything. And I would finally be free. I looked at the lamp. It sat on the table. 3 wishes. All used. But I didn't need them anymore. I had everything I needed. My strength. My money. My future. I picked up the lamp. Held it. The truth was the best wish after all. I set it down. My phone buzzed. Connor. I let it ring. Voicemail. I listened. Ursula. Please. Call me. I love you. I'm sorry. I'll do anything. Please. I deleted it. Another buzz. Merritt. Blake just confessed. Signed everything. He's cooperating. I smiled. Send it all to the DA. Already done. I lay back on the floor. Stared at the ceiling. Tomorrow, Connor would wake up to an empty bank account. An empty house. An empty life. And he'd know exactly who took it. I closed my eyes. Slept like I hadn't slept in years. Because for the first time, I was truly safe. And he never saw it coming. I woke to 37 missed calls. Connor. Blake. Unknown numbers. I deleted them all. Merritt texted at 7 a.m. IPO is still on. You're clear. I smiled. Breakfast. Coffee. No TV. I didn't need the noise. At 8:30, my phone buzzed again. Connor. I answered. Ursula. Please. Just listen. I'm listening. His voice was cracked. Raw. I made mistakes. Terrible ones. Go on. Blake used me. He said he'd expose everything if I didn't help him. You helped him steal from me. I was scared. I laughed. Scared of what? Losing you. He said if I didn't cooperate, he'd ruin us. I paused. Ruin us how? He knew about the test. The lamp. He threatened to tell the press. I sat up. And you believed him? He had proof. Documents. From Grandma. Your grandmother gave him documents. No. He stole them. Years ago. I closed my eyes. So you were protecting me? I thought I was. I know it sounds crazy. It does. But it's true. I never wanted to hurt you. I took a breath. Then why didn't you tell me? Because I was ashamed. I thought I could fix it myself. By stealing more? Silence. I know how it sounds. Connor, you've been lying for 2 years. I know. You chose Blake over me. I chose survival. I ended the call. Merritt called immediately. Don't believe him. It's a tactic. I know. We have proof of everything. He's cornered. Then why call? To make you doubt. To slow you down. I nodded. Send the evidence to the DA. Now. Already done. I hung up. An hour later, news broke. Connor James arrested for fraud. The headlines were brutal. I didn't read them. Merritt sent the details. He's out on bail. House arrest. No contact with you. I felt nothing. That afternoon, Margot called. Congratulations. He's finished. Thank you. I want to meet. Tonight. My estate. I'll be there. I drove out again. The gates opened. Margot was waiting in the garden. Tea. Cucumber sandwiches. Like nothing happened. Connor will be convicted, she said. Probably. But there's a complication. I set down my cup. Blake's testimony is shaky. He might recant. Why? Money. Someone offered him more. Who? She smiled. Me. I froze. What? I bought his silence. He won't testify against Connor. You're protecting him? I'm protecting the family name. A public trial would destroy us. I stood up. You're on his side. I'm on the family's side. Always. You told me you wanted him destroyed. I wanted him contained. There's a difference. I laughed. Bitter. You played me. I gave you the tools. You used them well. Now what? Now you walk away. Keep the company. Keep the house. Let Connor go quietly. And if I refuse, then I release everything. The lamp. The test. Your breakdowns. She stood. I have proof of everything, including your suicide attempts. I felt cold. You'd do that. I'd protect my family. Whatever it takes. I stared at her. This was the real twist. Margot never cared about me. She cared about control. And I was just another piece on her board. I sat down. What do you want? Public silence. You keep the money. Connor leaves town. Blake disappears. And the charges dropped. He pays restitution. No record. I thought about it. Connor in jail. Public trial. Media circus. Or Connor gone. Quietly. Forever. I chose quiet. Done. Margot smiled. Good girl. I left. Drove back to the safe house. Sat in the dark. I won. But it didn't feel like winning. Margot was still pulling strings. I was still dancing. But I learned something. Never trust anyone. Not even the grandmother who handed you the knife. I called Merritt. Drop the charges. All of them. Are you sure? Yes. But keep the evidence. Locked away. Why? Insurance. Merritt understood. The next day, Connor called. I'm free, he said. Shocked. Yes. How? I let you go. Pause. Why? Because you're not worth the fight. He started to cry. I didn't hang up. Just listened. Ursula, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I know. I really did love you. At the start. Maybe. But I ruined it. Yes. What happens now? You leave. Never contact me again. And the money? Keep your share. I don't want it. He was silent. Goodbye, Connor. Goodbye. I ended the call. Blocked his number. Deleted his contact. That night, I watched the news. Blake was on a flight to Europe. Connor was moving to a small town. Margot was giving a press conference about family unity. I laughed. The whole thing was a circus. And I was done being a clown. I called Merritt. New plan. I'm selling the company. Excuse me. All of it. Cash out. That's drastic. Margot thinks she controls me. She doesn't. I smiled. I'll take the money. Disappear. Start over. Where? Somewhere she can't find me. Merritt was quiet. It's your choice. It is. I spent the next month selling everything. Company. House. Assets. Merritt handled the legal. I didn't look back. On the last day, I walked into the old mansion. Empty. Cold. I went to the bedroom. The lamp was still there. I picked it up. Then I smashed it. Glass scattered everywhere. I knelt down. Picked up a shard. No magic. Just glass. Just a lie. I left it there. Walked out. Closed the door. Drove to the airport. I boarded a plane to nowhere. Seat 1A. Window. I watched the city shrink. Everything I built. Everything I lost. All behind me. I pulled out my phone. One last text to Merritt. Thank you. For everything. She replied. Good luck. I turned off my phone. Closed my eyes. The plane took off. And I felt free. No Connor. No Margot. No lamp. Just me. The survivor. The one who walked away. Not because I lost. Because I chose to win differently. I smiled. That was the final twist. The biggest one. I didn't need revenge. I needed peace. And I found it. At 35,000 feet. Above it all. Alone. But whole.